How you doing, Tom? What's going on? Welcome to my little podcast here.
GM, Jonathan, thanks for having me on
So let me give you,
Trigonal.
yep. Let me give you an appropriate introduction. Tom Farr created Metaverse Hospitality, a hotel that is being created in multiple metaverses. That NFT launched recently, and now you're planning this big project. So let's get into it, Tom. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, you hit it on the head, opening hotels in the metaverse. Can go a little deeper than that, obviously, and we'll get there, but, that's the main goal of Metaverse Hospitality. Be the leader of deploying hotels in each and every metaverse. We've already gotten started.
Yeah, so you have tell us you're planning to build several of these. Where are they located? What metaverses? And I know that they are very close to other very popular places in the metaverse.
Yeah, exactly. Our mindset at Metaverse Hospitality is first off, have each and every metaverse available that's has a chance of being something, like we saw. Another thing we'll get into a second, NFT Worlds getting banned last week. Things happen quick in this space. You got to be ready to pivot. So we want to be able to be in every metaverse possible. We have 3 hotels completely done already, and that's what our NFTs tie back into at the moment. It is just 2 hotels in Sandbox, and we did build a resort in NFT Worlds already, So going back to being able to pivot already, we do have to pivot because of the ban. We do have to see what goes down with that, but that resort was completely built already, so we don't just want to throw it in the drain. We want to be able to maximize our resources, but at the same time, we can pivot up and switch it to another metaverse if we want. We have lots of different plots ready to be built on in our wallet already, and we're ready to build up a community to help us bring these hotels to life. And not only Sandbox and NFT Worlds, but we have the other side ready to go. We have Network land, we have Biopills land, and many more on the radar.
Wow. It's almost like Hilton's going across the nation and into the world, right? So you're this is each hotel in each metaverse going to have a similar kind of branding to it, or does each one have its own branding?
Exactly. They're going to be just kind of like you see, like you said, Hilton deploys different types of brands throughout their collection. Marriott, Hyatt, all the big hotel companies have different subset of brands, and that's exactly the route we're going as well. So each one offers a little bit different amenities, a little bit different vibe to it. To go into the 3 we've built already, 2 in Sandbox, 1 is right next to the Board Ape Yacht Club. I think it's tough to say we're at right now, but just like land in real life, location is going to be key, especially within Sandbox. If you have a neighbor that's the Board Ape Yacht Club, you're probably going to be in pretty good shape.
Your background is actually hotels and hospitality, right?
It is, yeah. I went to school for it, Florida State University. Shout out there to the hospitality program. It was an amazing opportunity, and I landed the dream job at the St. Regis Atlanta right after school. So luxury hospitality was my training ground, really. That brought me up through the system. And my latest job was another dream job of traveling the world, consulting with hotels, and it was literally traveling 20 to 25 days a month on the road, jumping from one hotel to the next. But I wouldn't have it other anyway. The pandemic hit, had to pivot a little bit. But I found Web3 and wanted to bring my passions together again between Web3 and hospitality.
And what do you think you learned in the real life that is now going to move over into the metaverse?
Well, yeah, my specialty was in the operational side. We a lot of consulting work we did was getting proper structure in place, and it's going to pivot very similar to the metaverse. I think we're going to see stages. First things first is concierge services, an easy transition to the metaverse. It's already kind of been a transition online for some companies, but having a concierge service to where you can enter, say, this hotel in Sandbox and see exactly what you're going to get. Maybe you live in Florida and you want to visit Hawaii for the first time, but you don't know what to expect. Jump to see the concierge services in the metaverse and get a feel for what's going on at their hotel in Hawaii. Get a feel for the restaurants they have and the opportunities they have for trips around the resort in the city, and have literally the exact same concierge service you would have in hotel, just in the metaverse. That's the first easy transition.
If you built these hotels tomorrow, is everybody well, obviously Sandbox is still in beta mode, right? It's not open to everybody.
Right, and we haven't had our grand opening either. We do have them completely done, ready to go, but there's a few things we want to have complete. First off, if you own an NFT, the higher tier is a resident, and that's the rooms within the hotel. So it's not overnight stays. It's these residents get to build out their room however they want. So we do want to complete that before our grand opening, and we need traction. We need people there. Right now, obviously, it's a tough time. We officially hit a recession here in the U.S., and NFTs and crypto took a hit as well. So unfortunately, there's just not, if we had a grand opening today, there wouldn't be enough people there. We want to be able to still educate and still show people the opportunity of the metaverse. And once we have the traction, and once we have, the residents building out their space, we're going to have a true grand opening.
That's right.
And Sandbox as well needs to be at a beta, be open to the public completely. And it should come this summer, but like I said, the recession hitting, the state of this bear market right now is putting everyone in a tough spot to, you don't want to open to crickets. You want to have people in the space ready to go.
Yeah. And you recently did a launch of your NFTs. Explain exactly because I wasn't 100% clear on what I was getting into and what I actually have now. So explain like what that whole NFT project is.
Yeah, so these rings are your access ring, both in the metaverse and real life, is the best way to look at it. Instead of a key card, you have a ring that you will be able to wear as a wearable in all of these different metaverses. It's definitely going to be a perk of owning this NFT. But at the same time, it gives you lots of different utility, both in these hotels and in real life. So each hotel has two tiers, a resident and a guest. The residents being the higher tier, very, very rare. We have less than 50 per hotel, and we plan to stay that way. We're going to make that a very, very exclusive group, and they're treated like, the residents of the St. Regis Atlanta were treated. That's how I grew up in the hospitality industry. The St. Regis actually had half of a hotel and half of a residency program. So that's the route we're going to be starting with, and really want to bring the luxury element of hospitality to the metaverse.
Was that a random thing? If you bought into the NFT project, you may have wound up with a residency, or was there another way to buy a residency?
No, that's the only way. I mean, it is still open. The residence is still an opportunity. So this is the same price, 0.077, and it's just an opportunity to mint a rare. I think it's less than 1% when we look at percentages of the number of available residents to guests. So it's definitely a long shot at getting one, and that's kind of the fun thing about minting, right? I kind of wanted to bring back that gambling side that people got addicted to NFTs in the first place for.
The NFT that I got from the Metaverse Hospitality, what that actually gives me, is it? Explain it to me again.
Specifically, you have the guest NFT of Hotel Euphoria.
Right.
So Hotel Euphoria, just speaking metaverse terms right now, is in Sandbox. So once we have our grand opening, it's going to be two tiers. If you have the resident, that's the one that gets you the room within the hotel. Right. If you just have a guest, you will have certain access in the hotel that non-NFT holders don't have. And then you'll have perks, like holding your own conferences, will be free for holders. If you want to have a wedding within the metaverse, that'll be free for holders. If you want to enjoy different amenities that we have a few secret rooms, like a casino within that hotel. That'll be accessible if you own an NFT, but people that don't own it won't be able to access it.
And what about the actual hotel rooms themselves? Do I get priority over somebody who doesn't have a Metaverse Hospitality NFT?
The residents are the only ones who will have rooms. You have to own a resident NFT to have a room. That's the only way.
Okay, but am I on a priority list to rent a room for the night or a week? Is that how that works?
There's only resident rooms. That's the only way. Mm-hmm. There's not There's not any overnight stays or anything like that. It'll all be customized rooms for these residents that own the NFT.
And that's all that's available inside the hotel, besides the lobby with the wedding and the conference rooms and everything like that. It's just 24 rooms.
Well, per hotel, there's going to be residences and whatnot, and yeah, if we have, I think, 10 different floors, with the top 5 floors being for the residents, and from there, the lobby bar, concierge downstairs. We have different spa rooms that are going to be used for our retail partnerships within spa products, retail as a whole. We have a room to partnership with like clothing brands and to sell all our wearables as well. We have sports. There's a tennis court on one floor. If you go back through our YouTube channel, you can see a walkthrough of each hotel and what they offer. And it's really every type of amenity that a normal hotel would offer.
I look at everything 10 years out. So the metaverse is going to be instrumental in 10 years' time, right? We're going to be doing work. We're going to be living our lives in the metaverse, all of this stuff. I don't know if we're necessarily there yet, but the idea that you can own a room in a hotel, I always think of Snow Crash and this idea that you can kind of live and work in the metaverse. Everybody's going to need an apartment or some, way of kind of living within their space. They're not going to just want to travel all the time on the streets of the metaverse, right? So the fact that these residencies are available now when there's no apartment buildings being built, to my knowledge, maybe you're more knowledgeable on this.
So there are a few other companies doing similar things that are geared more towards apartments, and strictly a living space, and that's it. We are the first to build a hotel, and you can, I guess, think of it as a condo in that aspect. There's not overnight stays, but we have all the amenities a normal hotel would offer. So within this hotel, you're going to be able to jump as soon as you enter to the lobby bar, or see the concierge services. Go to the rooftop and jump in the pool and see a DJ later that night. We have 2 different wedding venues at 2 different hotels. We have a game room. We have a little casino in one of the hotels, a few hidden rooms just for our NFT holders as well. There's lots of different opportunity in the metaverse, and each metaverse offers a different opportunity as well. So that's what's fun about it, and that's what's fun about building it with the community, is they get to choose on what these amenities truly are and what they offer back to the community.
Somebody like me who didn't get one of the residencies, I have, I think, a blue and a black ring I think one of them may be NFT Worlds. What happens there? So is NFT Worlds, you're just going to pick up all of that tech that you built out on NFT Worlds and hopefully move it to another metaverse? Or are you going to actually build something out in the metaverse on NFT Worlds?
That is something that we need time to decide, really. And it's a tough situation, but at the same time, we're kind of lucky it happened now and not after we had our grand opening, So we can still pivot to another metaverse if we want. I love the founders of NFT Worlds. I think they're really, really smart guys. They know what they're doing. They did announce a plan to pretty much create their own metaverse, like you said, and transfer those assets.
Oh.
I have sitting in my computer the complete build right now, ready to be transferred if we need it. We're not going to obviously open on Minecraft when they've banned NFTs, and that's what our platform is designed for. We're here in Web3 for a reason, and Minecraft obviously separated them from that pack, which is okay. They're doing their own thing, but now, we have to decide if we're going to stick with NFT Worlds and see what they build, which probably we're going to do. That may be 6 months, it may be a year, until we see if they're successful pivoting. The other side, we can start building on that right away once they go public, and we can transfer that to the NFT ring. The blue ring, like you said, it's called Worlds Resort, but we can build Worlds Resort wherever we want to. We can build it in the other side, call it Worlds Resort, and make that ring now correlate to the hotel and the other side.
So what does that ring me? Obviously, NFT Worlds, we don't need to talk about. The blue one is for Sandbox, I'm assuming? Is that?
The blue one is NFT Worlds, and then the
Oh, okay.
black, and then the rose gold orange is the two sandbox.
Okay,
So blue,
so I have a black also.
black is Hotel Euphoria. So that's next to Zed Run and Artifact, which is owned by Nike. Another amazing location. It's
That's
actually
great.
right around the corner from House. The Nifty House is the one next to Board Ape Yacht Club. So they're in the same neighborhood of Euphoria, which is where all the big brands are in Sandbox, and that was the one that sold out in like 2 seconds at the initial drop. I actually bought both plots of land on the initial drop and got pretty lucky,
Wow.
and that's kind of where Metaverse Hospitality was created from there.
Can I look out my window from my apartment or my hotel room and watch the concert? Is that going to be possible?
So at the moment, it's not through Sandbox, but I mean, yes, that's what the ultimate vision is, to have your neighbors be your true neighbors, and just like a lot of tech within Web3 right now, they do have a little whiles to go, but yeah, the ultimate goal is, go to the Board Ape Yacht Club with a few friends, hit up a concert, have a couple virtual drinks where you order in the metaverse, it gets sent to your door, stuff like that, and then you want to break, you want to get away from the cluster. The Board Ape Yacht Club's probably going to be a pretty busy place, so go across the street to our hotel, bring them back to your room to chill for a little bit. Go to the pool, hang out on the rooftop to overlook, the party going on. That is the ultimate goal, yeah.
It sounded like I could order something in the metaverse and then have it appear physically at my address, my physical location. Is that what you're working on now?
Yep, there's a couple companies we're talking with that offer this option. It's literally, think of like Uber Eats for the metaverse. Very very similar concept, to where you just strictly order your food or your drink, through this delivery platform, and you stay in the metaverse while it's being delivered to your house.
I was watching they are working on contact lenses for AR VR accessibility, so you can actually
That's sweet.
live halfway in between both worlds. It's going to be quite
That's what I
amazing.
that's what I tell a lot of people. Once we get away from, the huge clunky
Yep,
Oculus,
yep.
I love working with the Oculus just at my desk, where you can throw screens up all over the place, but it's heavy, it's clunky, I don't want to have it on all day, and it's unfortunately not as seamless as you want it to be yet, So everything from, working in the metaverse to going to parties, it's going to be very, very more efficient once you have like contact lenses or small glasses like this you can put on,
Yeah.
and have your screens up in front of you and not use these little handles to move everything and go back and forth between your mouse and the Oculus controls. It's just a little much right now. It's still a lot of fun, but it is a little much still.
We have to get to that Ready Player One. Once we get to the contacts, we might not need that kind of a tool, but it's definitely the next step in the generation of the Oculus. Because
Oh,
right
for
now, too
sure.
many people are falling into their TVs and breaking their TVs.
Yeah, and that, think of, gaming. That's going to be the next step of gaming too, is where, it's kind of bringing in, athletes and gamers at the same time. If you have this treadmill, you can play different games where, it does matter if, you're an athlete and you can control your avatar completely like you control your own body.
Yeah.
There's so many different options from gaming on a treadmill, and the opportunities in the metaverse ahead.
So I listen to a lot of influencers, right? And one of them said everybody who wanted a PFP owns a PFP. And if they don't, they can easily get the PFP that they want, right? Now we need something to kind of generate activity and excitement in the NFT industry as well as the blockchain industry. And I really think that that's gaming, right? I think that the next big push that we're going to see, and I know that there's a lot of pushback from gamers. They don't really understand NFTs. I've been talking to gamers, and they don't really understand owning their own gun, a Fortnite kind of thing. But that's really where the next evolution of NFTs are going to kind of generate excitement. If we can get like GameStop releasing their NFT platform is just the first step to kind of get this ownership of, utilities into gaming, and I think it's just going to set the entire NFT market on fire.
Oh, for sure. And I think the other side's going to be a huge part of that. You know, if they do everything right, if they do everything I mean, the first trip was impressive for the first trip. You know, if they continue that push, it's going to be huge. It's going to be really
Yeah,
big. You know, and that's why
I
Metaverse
believe.
Hospitality, we're in there and in all the other opportunities because it's going to change over time, really, really fast.
I believe that they said that they had 6,000 people in at one time for Other Worlds for the test, right? Is that a right number?
The other side tests, I think it was a little bit less, but it was a lot. It was in the thousands. I think
Yeah.
maybe 4,000. But I mean, same thing. Like
Yeah.
they probably would have been just fine with that many, and then it was smooth. I was in there. I was in the first trip, and it was fun. It was smooth. It was cool talking like, your neighbor is someone you can talk to directly. And then you can move over to 5 feet away from you and talk to the next person and not hear your old conversation. It's just like how you would conversate in real life. You can shout out at someone if you want, but you can conversate with the people around you much easier. And that was just the first trip. It was a long ways to go, but it was really impressive.
Yeah, the speed at which the industry is moving is just incredible. I was in the dot coms, and I can tell you that what is being accomplished in a month in the industry, our industry now, blockchain, NFTs, DeFi, all of that, it took a year for some that level of technology to move forward, right? I mean, I started with coding HTML, by hand, everything like that. That move over to database calls, that took 3 years between the time that I was in the internet and then finally we had database calls. But now things are just moving within months. Things are coming together, and it's incredible. In talking to you, so I got involved in the NFT world around the time that the start of the pandemic happened. But it sounds like you were way ahead of me. You've been in this for a longer time. You have a much better feeling and a sense of what's coming up next. Tell us about how you got into this industry.
Well, I've been in and out since 2017. What originally got me hooked was ETH, was the Ethereum blockchain. I invested early in that, and then the ICO craze of 2017 happened. It was kind of similar to this NFT run we had about this time last year. Was just a lot of shit coming out. A lot of stuff that's coming out that's not going to mean anything. And I got a little deep involved in that, and I made some mistakes, and I got out for a little bit. But once I truly saw NFTs and the opportunity to tie them back into crypto, and the changes that's happening with the Ethereum blockchain and all the other blockchains coming out, that's when I truly dove deep. And this was about the end of 2020. And then I went super into it when I got my Bored Ape in May 2021. So I was back and forth for quite a bit, and then since I got my Bored Ape and had the opportunity to build Metaverse Hospitality, I've probably researched every blockchain, every metaverse possible. We do want to, like I said, be the leaders in the metaverse. So you have to know everything happening. You have to be involved. You have to know the ins and outs of NFT trading and crypto and the metaverse, and it's a lot right now.
It is a lot.
But we want to be those people that bring in the masses, and we have to be there to educate. That's what's big right now,
Yeah,
is education.
for me, it is so exciting to have gone through the pre-dot-coms, dot-coms, and post-dot-coms, and to now see really, history repeating itself with this new Web3, reveal with the NFTs and the DeFi and everything like that. It's such an expansive industry, and it's going to so rapidly take over Web 2. I was so happy yesterday. The Meta, call came in, right? Their quarterly earnings, and they are just finished. They are just losing people. They are losing
Yeah,
people quicker than Netflix is losing people. It's really incredible.
I read up on that this morning too. And it seemed like I think we need Meta to succeed to really have that crazy future we want to have of Ready Player One type style. And it's tough to see them come out with like those numbers were crazy. How much they've lost with it. I mean, it was absolutely crazy to see that and see the people that are leaving the team because of their metaverse approach. But at the same time, Zuck did say they're planning to be successful in 2030. You know, they're planning to have a crazy, you know, decade in 2030 to 2040. You know, so technically that's 8 years out right now. I mean, that's crazy to say you're building for 8 years away from now, but at the same time, it may take that long to get the masses truly involved, you know, and there's so many different companies and industries as a whole. I think building their Web3 products without, you know, by being quiet right now, because it's not, you know, there is negative aspects to the space still. So people know it's the future, you know, but they're building while being quiet about their plans for the future, you know. And I think a year from now, we'll start to see every industry and every opportunity within different businesses adopt Web3, and maybe they don't even call it NFTs and they don't even call it blockchain, but they're using that technology.
How do we get more people involved, even from Metaverse Hospitality, right? How do we explain to people the importance of having access to a hotel in the metaverse? What's your pitch when you talk to people?
It takes time, you know. First off, there's like going back to last night, we actually had an event in Tampa here. You know, it was kind of like an NFTs 101 type class, that was just open. You know, people got to have their questions answered right off the bat. It was kind of like a live Twitter Spaces, you know, and that's, I think that's key to this space right now, is being active in the community through your social networks, especially Twitter. You know, that's where the NFT community is still here, even though there's not many around on Twitter even more. But real world events are the most important thing. Pretty much hubs in every city to onboard, you know, friends, family, coworkers, the community of your local city. You know, I think it's big to spread the word no matter where you are. But it's going to take time. You know, we have a lot of time to do that.
Zuck is right in projecting for 2030. The only problem that he is going to face is that the technology is changing so rapidly, so quickly, that if he is building now for 2030, it's going to look completely, 2030 is going to be a completely different world by then. He has to
And
move much quicker. Yeah. But I like what you said about NFTs may not be NFTs in every industry, right? Because at the end of the day, it's really the smart contract. Whether it's a non-fungible token, if that's not understood by the majority of the population on the planet, we can do other things. But what I'm really looking for right now are companies that are building insurance NFTs, healthcare NFTs, you know, housing and retail NFTs, clothing and things like that. You know, that's really where we need to move. Nobody's interested outside of our little clique of, you know, whatever, maybe 1 million people in this industry now, to have a PFP or create an NFT and understand why I need a PFP, right? But if we can move the technology forward so that your insurance is in your wallet permanently, like you know what they're talking about, the permanent ID type of NFT, right? Where your insurance and your healthcare and everything like that is reachable in your wallet and accessible to only specific, whether it's the hospital, whether it's the bank. That's where we really need, the technology really needs to move forward. We kind of need, PFPs were fun. They were great. We put utility behind them. You got your Bored Ape. You know, you're able to go to the parties at NFT NYC. But we really need to kind of really focus on what the next level of the industry is going to be. So I'm very excited about that.
oh, for sure. And I think, like, you know, going off of, it's not going to be an NFT, but it could be still. It's just going to be called an insurance policy. You know, it's not going to be called an insurance policy NFT. It's just not necessary. You know, it'll be everyone's policy is an NFT. You know, that's just what it is in 5 years from now. Same with healthcare, and same with, you know, think of like going to hotels. You know, an access card. You know, maybe they call it that. Maybe they call it a club membership. there's different wording that we're starting to see now too with new projects, not even mentioning the word NFT when they're coming out. They're using things like access keys and things like memberships, private opportunities, and just because NFTs are sometimes looked down upon, which for no right reason. It's definitely the people that aren't educated, but at the same time, it's a lot of people still that don't have that proper education and need to see it be like turned into something more mainstream where it's just like, okay, I need to get an insurance policy, like, oh, and then it's on the blockchain now. That's going to be the next step, is like buying your insurance and then finding out you get an NFT as your policy, and then
Right.
I think that's where the mass adoption comes into play, where people are buying NFTs and they don't even know it.
Right. Right now, my company is working with an investor in the Minnesota area. They flip houses all the time, and we're working on what processes the NFT, the smart contracts, can actually take over. Right. It's the easy thing is, okay, you buy a house, you get an NFT, but nobody really cares about that, right? But the processes in between, dealing with the bank, dealing with the insurance company, dealing with all of these multiple, areas of information that have to kind of go back and forth in order for you to actually get your mortgage, for you to be able to get your deed. We're looking at how to simplify that project, right? How to, if we can even just implement one aspect of that process, it would simplify so many things, because there's so many people's hands are in the pot when you're buying a house. This, when you're buying a house, right? I just refinanced my house. I talk about this all the time. It took 6 months to refinance the house. They called me up. I repeat this story all the time, so you'll have to listen to this. They called me on Monday. They said, we're ready to have you come into the office on Thursday. I was like, well, I'm busy. I have to schedule this. Okay, we can schedule this 2 weeks out from the time that we could have done it on Thursday. Wait a second. What? Why is it all of a sudden 2 weeks from today? Why does everything have to be restructured? How many people are involved in this process? And that's where I think the smart contracts are really going to take over. I want to step back to Minecraft for just a minute, because as a businessman, sometimes what's put out in public, there's a lot of stuff going on in the back end that we don't hear about. What do you think? I have a conspiracy theory. What do you think about this Minecraft shutting off NFT Worlds as an attempt to get them to the table to negotiate? Is that just me being dumb, or is there an actual possibility to that?
I don't think so, just on the response of the NFT World founders. There wasn't any communication between Minecraft and them at all before the ban was announced. The communication beforehand, I think they said, happened a few months ago, and it was all positive. They were accepting of whatever they were doing, and then they just released this ban without notifying them at all, which is kind of strange. I see it being for a few reasons. One could be that their Minecraft community, like some of the other gaming communities, are completely against that route, and they didn't want to lose their basis of users, and what they've been technically successful on for all these years. If these users do see, NFT Worlds be something truly successful, that technically loses Minecraft's control a little bit, and people can start doing whatever they want on their platform when it comes to selling NFTs and developing their own metaverses. Really, they have a business, and they had to make a business decision, really, and stay in Web 2. On the other hand, maybe they have their own Web 3 plan that they're going to release a year from now, and they need to ask the competition that's already in their server, so who knows? They could be completely against Web 3 or building for Web 3 and wanted to ask the competition.
Wow. Wow. Very interesting perspective. I always kind of look on the bright side, thinking that maybe things will turn around, but I guess it's a definitive from the NFT world, from that leader, from the leadership there, that they really kind of are turned off by what Minecraft did and wouldn't even come to the table anyway.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I haven't talked to them. Obviously, I've just read their announcements and been active in trying to see what exactly happened. And it seems like they were pretty shocked and moving forward on their own. They have the ability to create their own metaverse. Now we just kind of see how they execute and how the transfer goes. You know, they've said since all these people have built on top of this Minecraft building platform already, they want to have it be an easy transfer. You know, so our resort that is already done, we'll just transfer it over to their new system once they
That's
have
great.
that complete.
Oh, that's fantastic. And that actually lets them stand on their own feet and not have to deal with Minecraft at all. It's like
Right.
buying an old house and then you have to deal with the historical society all the time, right? You have to keep going back to Minecraft. This could actually work out much better for them. And if they're willing to transfer all of that property, the ownership of that property to whatever they're going to build now, then this may be the right time to buy.
For sure. I mean, especially with how prices dropped, you know, people forget NFT Worlds was like, I think 25 ETH at some point, which is absolutely crazy. You know, there's a few things that went into it, a lot of hype, obviously, at the right time. But it dropped. I mean, I haven't looked, but I think under an ETH, maybe under zero point 0.5 ETH. You know, it
Yeah, yeah,
completely is. I mean, and with due time, I'm sure it'll get back a little bit, but it was expected with a ban. You know, that's kind of a big deal.
right.
Now we see how the team pivots, how they respond. I think they have a capability to truly succeed and come out on top, but we'll only see with due time.
That's great. Well, but at zero point 0.5 ETH for an entire property in the metaverse, even if it's not tied to Minecraft, that's a pretty good investment.
I need to check on the price. It could be even lower than that.
You're in Florida. I bounce back between New York and Florida all the time. Miami is becoming a hotbed for the industry. Just incredible.
It's wild. I'm part of the Magic City DAO. Shout out to them. That's a group of bored apes that have come together from mainly Miami. You know, a few outside of Miami as well. I was based on the East Coast up until a couple months ago. I moved to Tampa, and there was a decision between jumping into Miami and their truly established tech scene. You know, not only Web3 in Miami is established, but the tech scene there, you know, there's literally leaders of the industry there for years and years and years that have convinced, you know, all these people that have built companies in San Fran and New York to move down as well, especially this last year. It has absolutely blown up, you
Yeah.
know, so it was a decision of jumping into something that is very, very crowded already, or coming to Tampa and kind of being a part of something new here. And my family's from Tampa too. I'm from this coast, so it was a tough decision, but I wanted to kind of build up the Web3 scene here in Tampa and be a part of all the new hotels and all the new restaurants that are being built here from the ground up. And I still go back to Miami all the time. It's just necessary. You know, there's so
Yeah.
much going on in Web3, with these DAOs, you know, with the friend groups, with the business opportunities. I'm in Miami at least once a month still, you know, so that is where the opportunity is for sure. And hopefully we can get Tampa to represent Miami and the Web3 scene as well soon too.
Yeah. Well, the mayor is very pro crypto.
He's great. He is
Yeah.
great. He's done a lot for Miami, you know, and brought in a ton of companies that, you know, have, like I said, brought in more companies and more people that work for him that are based remotely that want to be together now because, I mean, it is a fun city. There's a lot going on. You know, Miami's known for its party scene and whatnot, but there's so much more to it as well. You know, it's its own state on its own. You know,
Yeah.
there's
There are a lot of incubators opening up. Blockchain incubators are opening up now over in Miami. It's very interesting.
mhm.
They're actively looking for developers and entrepreneurs to build things out. There's a lot of opportunity there. It's very interesting. What do
Yes,
you
it is.
see? What do you see as the next evolution of metaverse hospitality?
It's going to be travel to earn. You know, it's going to be the Web3 version of getting influencers to post of your hotels, and yeah, we want to be a big part of that. We want to be a big part of hospitality and Web3 as a whole. Events, you know, being like I said, local in Tampa and being able to educate your local communities. You know, that's a big next step. So there's a lot I think in the smaller plans in the next few months, regarding to local in Tampa and bringing out the education. Then long term future is bringing in the masses of hospitality, continuing to build hotels, bringing this travel to earn platform to where it should be.
Travel to earn. This is the first time I'm ever hearing that term, travel to earn. That's amazing.
I mean, it's just like gaming had the play to earn type aspect to pop off with like Axie Infinities. That was a huge opportunity for gamers to get into the space. And we want to bring the opportunity for travelers and hoteliers and people within the hospitality industry that may want a new opportunity to earn within the space as well. It's all about giving back to the community.
Yeah.
That's how you truly make it in this space.
Are you consulting with any hotels to get them educated about the metaverse?
We've done a lot of education with some of my contacts about what we're doing and what is happening in the Web3 space. A lot of them are not ready for it yet, though. They simply are not going to enter the metaverse anytime soon. They're still working on like their Instagram profiles. And these are smaller hotels. And when we talk about our my bigger contacts within like Marriott's and Hilton, and they're doing it themselves. They have their internal team working on it right now that has big plans. And someone like Marriott already has released an NFT. Someone like Hilton is already doing training in the VR space, to educate. A good example is Hilton is specifically educating their like corporate office on hotel policies. Someone that's not familiar with hotel operations through virtual reality training. So these are opportunities that big hotel companies and big companies, not even within hospitality, but as a whole, are working on. You just might not have heard about it yet. Every large corporation has a Web3 plan. I can guarantee you they are already on it. You just might not have heard about it yet.
Just a question for Tom. Did the Other Side playtest give you any unique insights about how the hospitality industry could leverage Yuga's metaverse to their advantage, similar to the sandbox?
Great question, but no, they haven't gave us any details yet. There's a lot we're still waiting on. Pretty much the only thing that they've said is help us build, be present, show up to all these tests, and you'll be rewarded for it. And keep showing up, and we'll be able to see how we can build. They have released kind of like just literally a paper on what's going to come and within the resources, within what you own on that land. Your other side has different traits and what those traits can do. And pretty much they've said different types of resources, different types of artifacts will obviously just offer different types of builds. And it's a combination of coding plus land and the resources on this land will give you opportunity to build whatever you want. But within that being said, they haven't given them the opportunity to build yet. All we can do right now is show up for the tests, be present within these tests, help them build out this next metaverse, which is fun. It's pretty cool to see us go from literally, a blank like white room is how it started in the Other Side, and then we went through this portal that brought us to like the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and just to see that first progress is pretty cool, and to see how it will evolve throughout this and how we can truly start building in it. It's exciting, and that is definitely what I'm most excited about right now is the Other Side. The Other Side's going to be a lot of fun.
So you think the Other Side could possibly kick off the next evolution of NFT and interaction with the metaverse?
I could see it kind of taking over. How Axie Infinity kind of went on its own for a while, and everyone was in Axie Infinity because the money was there for a little bit, and you could deploy these farms that earn you passive income. I think that is their ultimate goal, to bring in builders and creators to truly only build in the Other Side. And with, I think it shows with 20,000 plots total. It's way more than that. It's way more plots than that too. That's the ultimate goal, is have full-time builders that earn from building in the Other Side, and then you're gonna have players that earn from playing in the Other Side. There's gonna be so many opportunities for lots of different people that are in Web3 that may not be a builder, may not be a trader, but they love video games. They love the opportunity to earn, and when it comes to, building hotels, that's obviously our goal. We want to build a hotel in every metaverse possible, but we're gonna be there to support and build whatever we can to start. Maybe we don't have the opportunity to build a true hotel uh, until a year from now, but we're gonna still show up to each and every test. We're gonna still help them, build this other side out because that's what they want. They want people to join the community and help them build it. That's the whole point of Web3 is the community driven aspect of building everything with these companies.
Yeah, it really is amazing when you look at what industries this whole Web3 touches, right? We've got the computer scientists that are writing the code. We have the artists and the architects that are building the 3D models for the metaverse. We have the entrepreneurs that are building the businesses. There are so many, and then you look at DeFi and all that stuff. There are so many people, and you're just going to see this amazing move. And we're already seeing it now. Facebook and all these other Google or all these employees are moving over to these Web3 projects. It's very exciting. Hey, let's read a couple of more notes. Richard says, got my Aoki avatar ready to visit these hotels. And then Dork God said, they need to get people that SDK, which is the software to be able to write on it, so that the third-party building can start. Looking forward to that. I agree with that they need to release the SDK as soon as possible. But they probably want to hold on to proprietary information for the meantime, right?
Right. So we've obviously applied for that. But yeah, no one's heard a thing back yet. So definitely waiting, excited to see when that is released.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Tom, this has been a great interview. I really appreciate you coming on the show. A lot of fun. I know that you're going to be incredibly successful. Whatever happens now is just like, the pebble in the pond, and it's going to reverberate and just get bigger and bigger and bigger. This is such an exciting project. I'm so excited that I own a couple of rings, and I may have to buy in a couple more to try to get myself a residency.
There's got to be a resident coming in that mint pretty soon. There's definitely got to be a couple happening soon. So yeah, that's what's fun about it.
And I'm probably going to buy an NFT Worlds right after this.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. It was a great talk.
Tom, we'll definitely have you on again. More exciting news to provide us with. Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Stay tuned for more interviews from this channel coming up soon.